Greetings. I bring you greetings from the place where God lives. This is your host, Ambassador Timothy David Blair, and I'm so thrilled to be here with you. We're going to have an amazing experience today, and I'm bringing you these live from the place where God lives. He lives in the beautiful islands of the Bahamas. He visits the United States. He visits Cameroon. He visits the nations around the world, but he lives here in the Bahamas. So you are in for a wonderful experience today. We're going to journey through purpose. And my late pastor and spiritual teacher, Dr. Miles Monroe, he left so much with us. And for all of us know, some of us don't know what we're called to do. And some of us, the ones that do know, we know that this is a time that the true essence of the essence of who you are, the innate purpose that God has called you to be, you have to live it out right now. And for those who don't know it, we're going to discover it today. And for those who already know it, we're going to kind of just rediscover it. We're going to recharge it. And at the end of this experience, I'm going to do something that would release you into your purpose like you've never been released before. If nobody told you that you have a purpose, if nobody told you that your purpose is going to be manifested this year, you're going to see it, you're going to experience. In fact, at the end of this experience, you're going to have a very clearer read on what your purpose is. So I want you to go with me for the next 30 minutes as we go right into purpose. I'm so excited. And you know, when all of us were made with a purpose, all of us there's a plan that God has for our lives. And sometimes it's revealed to us right away. But other times it takes a process. Sometimes it's going to be a painful process. Sometimes it's going to be a process that people would make you cry when you're going on this journey to finding and fulfilling your purpose. So welcome, Ambassador Veronique. God bless you. Welcome to all of those who are joining us from all over the world. It's a pleasure to be here with you. I'm so excited. You know, I had a swim this morning. I had a purpose swim. Every day you should have a nice purpose, a time to just reflect on what God is doing in your life, what he wants you to do, what is the assignment that he's called you to do. And I had that this morning, and I was just in such an euphoric moment. And I said, Lord, thank you for bringing me to this place. Thank you for revealing what your plan for my life is. There's a part of the scripture that says, many are the plans in a man's heart, but it's the purpose of the Lord, God's purpose, that it will stand. So I'm going to stay right here until our producer puts up the first video as we go into purpose. Madam Producer.
Life is very simple.
I spent 30 years studying this thing. And I discovered life is very simple. Simple. Life is simple. God hid everything that a thing's supposed to become in itself. So your future is not ahead of you. It's trapped on the inside. A forest is not ahead of the seed. It's in the seed. Your future is in you, been there all along, but there's too much noise. As soon as you get home, clink, remote on. In the car, boom, 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 boom. As soon as you come out of the car, friends, yap, 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 yap. God is saying, man, this is a lot of noise for the last 50 years. I can't even get to this person. How did God get to talk to Abraham? God says, leave your home. Let's talk in the mountain. See, the reason why you can't discover what you were born to do is because you don't even make time to discover it. Sometimes that's why God would allow you to get sick and drop you in the hospital for a couple of weeks.
Wow. The late, great Dr. Miles Monroe. And you know, as a child growing up at his ministry, you know, he was my spiritual father and teacher. And we had one summer, we had this camp. I was about 10 years old. And this was when he was writing the book on In the Pursuit of Purpose. And a part of this camp was all of the kids at the experience we're supposed to learn the foundations of purpose. This was a purpose camp. Could you imagine kids learning at a purpose camp and learning from the book that Dr. Miles Monroe wrote? In fact, Miles Monroe Jr. was at that same camp as well. We had such a wonderful time. And my part in the camp is I like to beat the drums. I'm from the islands, man. I like to beat the drums. And so I had to get the rhythm of the tenets of purpose through the drum beat and do boom, 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 boom. And people of African descent, we love the drums. In the Bahamas, we have a John Canoe. And so we beat the first purpose, boom, 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 boom. God is a God of purpose, boom. God is a God of purpose, boom. Everything has a purpose, boom. Everything has a purpose, boom. Not every purpose is known. And he drilled that into us. And something, and sometimes I don't even need to remember stuff because it's like a part of me. And just like Dr. Miles said, he says, your purpose is trapped within you. That's the place where you wouldn't miss it on the inside of you. And the three tenets, I would never forget these three tenets of purpose, the four tenets of purpose, the four pillars of purpose. And number one is God is a God of purpose. Never forget that. That's number one. God is a God of purpose. He doesn't do things arbitrarily. He is purpose. And then because he's a God of purpose, number two, everything has a purpose. This is tenets of God. Because God he's a purposeful God. He thinks about, he sees the end from the beginning. In fact, just like a blueprint, the architect sees the end of the thing before he even begins making the thing. And everything that God created, all of his creation, has a purpose. And the third pillar is not every purpose is known. And and the third pillar ties in with the fourth pillar, because if not every purpose is known, then what happens next? He says, because not every purpose is known, the fourth pillar is abuse is inevitable. When purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. And you think about things that have been abused. You think about people who've been abused because of their race, because of their color, because of where they live, because of where they came from, because people just didn't know. And these tenets, we learned them. If you went to Dr. Miles Monroe's ministry and you were in the children's ministry, you knew these tenets by heart. They were a part of you. We lived from that place. And the thing is, when you discover your purpose, your leadership, your gift, you discover the why. And if you just like a saying said, if you know the why, you can endure anyhow. So when you know the purpose of the thing that you were called to do, and when you get set back and people tell you, no, you can't do it. No, you can't make it. You can't get that job. You can't live in that community where persons say you're not supposed to live. You can say, oh no, that's a part of my purpose. Oh no, I can endure this situation. I can endure this present situation right now because this is a part of my journey. And the next slide, as we go into it, I want you to, at the end of this short time I have with you, you're gonna find that we're gonna level down purpose to one word. I want all of you who are listening in the sound of my voice to be able to pull one word. This is for you. This is at least this one word that God has called you from. When you think of Dr. Miles Monroe, what do you think about? You think about purpose. You think about the motivator. You think about leadership. You think about kingdom. And God has used him to pull so much words from him, and he grew the talent that one talent God had given him, and to so much more different talents and so many more different gifts. And he's created an academy of purposeful-minded people, of kingdom citizens, of ambassadors, so we can now live from that place and live purposeful lives. Here's my question to you. purpose, you're stopping from coming to fruition because you're not responding to the call, to the purpose that God has created you to be. Madam Producer, can you go with the next video?
I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed.
It's Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player that ever played the game of basketball on the planet. And is a reason why we looked at the life of Michael Jordan and look at the failures and how many shots he's taken and how many shots he's missed. And when you think of Michael Jordan, what comes to mind? Basketball. When you think of Tiger Woods, what do you think about? Golf. When you think about Steve Jobs, Apple, and so forth and so on. So here's my question. What do people think about when they call your name? Have you found that thing that they're going to call you for? Because when you find that thing, that one thing, that special thing that nobody else on the planet can deliver to the universe but you, when you find that special thing, you live from that sweet spot. That's that purpose. That's from nobody can take it from you. Nobody can do it like you. Nobody can say it like you. It's tied to your iris scan. It's tied to your fingerprint. It's tied to your DNA. It's a part of you. And he's trapped it. It's a code on the inside of us. It's a code on the inside of you, of each and every one of us. Michael Jordan found it. And when Michael Jordan found it, that was basketball, right? And in 1988, the whole world remembers that jump from the free throw line, and when he stretched, and what he did that signature move that became a logo. And so Michael Jordan, if you watch the movie of Michael Jordan, his mother negotiated a contract for him to sign this deal with Nike, and he signed the deal for stocks. And so instead of him just being a basketball player now, he became a brand. He became an icon. He became a logo. So now it's not just in basketball. His logo, the same Air Jordan logo, is everywhere. He owns the brand to that. He owned the basketball team. And not only did he do that, he crossed all areas of sports with the purpose that God has called him to do. When his basketball coach told him that, hey, you are not going to make this team. And in high school, he cut him off the team. Michael Jordan being cut off the team. Some of us, when we're finding our purpose, we're going to get cut out of some situations. Some people are going to turn their backs on you. Some people are going to talk down to you in your dream. Some people are going to tell you, you're nothing. You're no good. What are you going to do? How are you going to respond? Are you going to trust yourself to take the game-winning shot, even if you miss? Even if you miss the shot, and take another shot, and take another shot, and take another shot, because you're living from the inside out. And when we find and when we discover that one thing, it builds an entire world around us. And when we walk as God leads us along this pathway, we find our leadership, find that gift, find that special thing that we came to bring to the universe. We're living our divine purpose. We're living the life that God has intended for us to do. And my producer, can you go with the next video for me?
Steph shoots 500 shots a day, 3,500 shots a week, 14,000 shots a month, 168,000 shots a year. These are practice shots. So he's been in the NBA 15 years. He's done 2.52 million shots in practice. In his entire career, he's only taken 15,000 shots. And he's made 3,000 three-pointers, and he's the greatest in history. Less than 0.1% of his shots have actually shown up at a game. So I always tell people, you're rewarded in public for what you practice in private.
You're rewarded in public for what you practice in private. And if you've been following the life of Steph Curry, and Steph Curry is a believer, and he's dominated an area of basketball. Now, when you think of basketball, you think of Michael Jordan. But when you think of a specific area of basketball, taking the three-point shot, Stephen Curry owns that. That's his thing, that special thing, that's him. That one little, okay, basketball is it's a plethora of skills. When a person plays basketball, very good at the sport of basketball, they can slam dunk. If some person can pass really good, like Magic Johnson, he's known for being the flashiest passer ever. You have assists, John Stockton, he's the number one assist leader on the planet, passing the ball to someone else, and you have steals. Persons are known for defense, and it's so wide. It's a very wide world in the world of basketball. Stephen Curry has went in, they call him Steph, everybody knows him as Steph, and he took this one area of basketball and he mastered it. He's a guy that owns most of the three-point records. Some of the records he had in shooting the three-point, making a three-point shot, he's past Larry Bird, greats. But when he came into the NBA, he was only 6'3". They said, oh, he's a very small guy. He needs to put on some weight. He's not going to make it in this sport. He's not going to really make it because he's too weak and he's not tall enough. And so this guy created an entire revolution all over the world. Everybody wants to take a three-pointer. Anybody can take a three-pointer. Not everybody can dunk, but everybody, when you have the basic skills of shooting and dribbling and passing the ball in the sport of basketball, if you master one of those skills in a way, it can take you places where you can only dream of. And that's what he did with that one skill. What are you doing with that one skill? With that one word in an entire world of things? What is it for you? I want you to sit down today as we're talking right now. We're having this communication. And I want you to think about this one thing that God is, that how do you get to find, say, Tim, Brother Tim, I do so many things well, but I don't know what is that one thing that I can do that people call on me to do. What is it for me? How do I find it? I'll give you 3 keys to finding it. 3 simple keys. And it's things that you probably heard before, but I want us today, we're going to zone in on that because this is about rediscovering you, rediscovering your leadership, rediscovering the thing, that special thing that nobody else can do like you, but you. And the first part of it is something that you have a burden for. Sometimes you finding that thing that's tied to your purpose, you have a burden for it. You have a passion for it. It's something that you're excited about, something that you really like. It can be something as novel as that. Or secondly, it could be something that you hate, something that you're disgusted at, a particular injustice that you've seen. Or you, like me, I hate trash. If I'm walking in the morning, I usually take a walk along the highway or even on the beach, wherever I'm walking. And if I see I hate trash, I'm going to pick it up. I can't stand trash. If I see every day I take the trash out. If I don't do anything for the day, I take out the trash. This is something I just can't stand garbage. I'm not a clean freak, mind you, but I just can't stand. What is it? It's something that you hate, that you despise. You just can't stand this thing, or you have a strong dislike for this thing. And that's a part of that's God is your being is telling you that this is a part of the purpose that God has for me. And many people, Rosa Parks, she did it. She hated injustice. She hated to ride in the back of the bus. She did not like to be treated subhuman or inferior. She believed that she deserved to be in the front of the bus, just like everybody else. And so Martin Luther King, you have even persons like Dr. Miles Monroe, he was tired of being labeled people from the third world nations as being unenlightened. And God gave him a passion to just blow it out of the universe with so many deep truths and hidden truths that has been revealed to so many people all over the planet. And that's what drew, and you know, going to sitting under Dr. Miles Monroe, and I would see him, and he would go and he would preach. And he would preach for 2 hours. And I was like, Lord, when is this man going to stop? I didn't know that it was going to be for today. Many years later, that he's no longer here. And we can listen to we would listen to one of his YouTube videos that would play and watch it again and again and again and again and again and say, Lord, I thank you that he didn't stop. You know, I worked the camera at his ministry, and I follow Dr. Miles on camera. Sometimes he's moving so fast, and I'm sleeping while he's moving, and he's moving fast to me. And I'm like, Lord, why don't this man stop? But he didn't stop, because if he stopped, we wouldn't be here having this conversation right now today. Queen Veronique wouldn't be doing the purpose that he's birthed in her to develop this network. This network was birthed from a deep desire and a deep passion, a deep purpose, a burden for something that's bigger than you, something that you hated. You just hated. And then lastly, sometimes the thing that God has revealed to you is the thing that you need most. We teach what we need most. What is that thing that you need most? Is it money? Is it relationships? Is it companionship? That might be the thing that he's directing you. That's a part of your burden. And you know, when you find this one thing, whatever, I want you to write it down. Some things are going to come to your head as you listen to the replay, as you listen to this live. And that one thing that he's telling you, he's revealing to you, he's showing you, what is that thing that I need most? And for me, and it can even be the thing that you're really good at. Some things you're really, really good at. People are always calling on you for something. I want her to cook. I want this person to cook for me. I want this person to make this cake for me. I want this person to decorate. It's so many different things that burden God has called us. And you know, when I found it, and it could be trapped into one word, if we can get it down to one word, if we could get it down to a subtopic of a word in a major topic, like Steph Curry did in basketball, we'll start to work on getting closer to the place where God has for us to be. And you know, it's so amazing when I found this one word for me, because when I went to law school, I did very well in contract law. So I really loved looking at covenants. I love reading covenants. And then I had a lot of problems when it come to covenant. And so I started to read, and when I hear the word covenant, my ears went up, bing, and I was like, okay, I got that. Anything on covenant, I eat, sleep, and drink it all day long. So my one thing for me is covenant, and covenant is going to open up so many doors for me, because when you're walking in covenant, especially in the kingdom of God, covenant is the kingdom. In fact, the keys of the kingdom is, you can only access the keys of the kingdom of God through covenant. And so I want to go to the next video. My producer.
Seeds were designed by the Creator to bring forth trees. You'll never find a seed attending a tree growing convention to learn how to grow trees. Why? Where's the tree? Trapped on the inside. In other words, whatever God created something to do, he built it in. Your culture and your educational system doesn't allow you to discover that. We are educated to be employed, not to be deployed. Seeds deploy themselves and become trees. Fish deploy themselves and they swim. Birds deploy themselves and they fly. We are the only creatures God created who don't deploy ourselves, because our culture doesn't allow it. You got to get free from the culture.
That's right. We have to get free from culture. And you know, I love how Dr. Miles put it. We're the only creatures who haven't been released from being deployed. We like to be employed. Birds, they just fly. Fish swim. That's what fish do. What are you doing? What am I doing? What are we supposed to do with the deployment that God has placed on the inside of us? That thing that He has placed on the inside of us. And yes, our educational system, Ambassador of Queen Veronique, it doesn't teach you that. That's why we're told that we can't be conformed to the world. We have to be transformed, our minds have to be renewed. We have to get this thing from another place. We can't get it from the place where we are. Thank you, King Theory. Yes, we can't get it from this same place that they're telling us. They're telling us the mind that the world, they say, you can't do it. You can't own that hotel. You only could work for it. You can't have that business. You only could be one of the person who's sweeping the floor. No, I've called you. I've put so much in you. And you know why he's put so much in us? It says God doesn't supply where he doesn't make a demand on where there's no supply. Because he made a supply in us, he can make a demand on you. He can make a demand on me. And anytime he's ready to place a demand on the thing that he's placed on the inside of you, that thing he makes a demand, he can command it because he expects something from us. And you know, yeah, our job, and that's what we're doing right now. Because of what we're speaking into the atmosphere, we're reversing the system. We're reversing it through our words. And before we end this cast, we're going to declare some stuff over our into the universe, that some things are going to change just with our presence. We're intelligent speaking beings, speaking, breathing, moving beings. We are at the top. We've been designed. We are small gods in the earth. Don't you know that your body is a temple for the King of Kings, the Lord of all the Lords to live in? When you show up, purpose, all of God's purpose, his thoughts, his feelings, his intentions shows up. So why are you going to doubt yourself? Why are you not going to show up in life like you're supposed to show up? Madam Producer, can you put up the next video?
Imagine, if you will, being on your deathbed and standing around your bed, the ghost of the ideas, the dreams, the abilities, the talents given to you by life, and that you, for whatever reason, you never acted on those ideas. You never pursued that dream. You never used those talents. We never saw your leadership. You never used your voice. You never wrote that book. And there they are standing around your bed, looking at you with large, angry eyes, saying, we came to you, and only you could have given us life. And now we must die with you forever. And the question is, if you died today, what ideas, what dreams, what abilities, what talents, what gifts will die with you?
Thanks. Whoa, what gifts, what talents, what dreams, what ideas, my mentor Les Brown puts it, would die with you. What? And you know, as I'm about to close, I'm going to call you to a higher standard. I'm calling you out to the purpose God has called you to be. I'm calling you up to work, finding that gift, that thing, from working from that thing, from writing that book that you're supposed to write, from producing those videos and those shows and everything that God has put in you, developing that business that persons are waiting on us to show up. Creation is groaning and travailing in pain together until now, waiting for the manifestation of the sons of God. He's waiting for us to show up and to show out and to give him glory. And excellence is X means the out, and L is God, to get God out. So as you discover your divine purpose, as you uncover your leadership, as you uncover that thing, that one specific thing that would grow into a myriad of other things, you're getting God out. And so I'm going to pray, and I'm going to make a blast of the shofar over your future, over your dreams, over your gifts, over your talents, over that thing that he's called you to do that you've put on the side. Some of us have left it on the side. Some of us have forgotten it. Some of us are still chasing after Babylon. We are still conditioned by the mind that the world has been given us. Some of us are still touting what God has placed on the inside of us. He said, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. And I have called you on purpose, for a purpose. That's what he's done and called you. So I'm going to blow this blast over your life, over your future, over the purpose in your life, over the purpose that he's called you to be. And your life on this day will never be the same. Go forward into your future. Go forward into the fullness of God has called you to be. God bless you. I love you. God keep you and shine his face upon you. You have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.